Dragón. You can't carry anymore. My Sharona. Victory is ours! Woo! Da 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 no 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 brr brr. Damn. Woohoo!
but
I get that. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I mean, but the saying goes like those systems, like PC, like Xbox, PC, PS5 have always been like their own little like environment where like games will just run, especially since like their architectures, they've like adapted such similar architectures. It makes it a lot easier for those games to run on them, and like ports and stuff like that and upscaling like that. It's just like assume that you get a third-party game unless there's some exclusivity deal. You're getting the game on all those platforms. As always, Nintendo has been like in this weird kind of like the Venn diagram, like next to it, like how big has that like overlapping space been? And I think with the Switch, we've gotten the most overlap since the GameCube. Basically,
Yeah, it's a lot of. Yeah, I think a lot of people have both. And I think even like Matt Piscatella had some statistics, at least in North America, of what that looks like. And yeah, it was like 40% of like people who have a PS4 had a Switch. It was like a ridiculous number.
That's that stuff I'm like
super high.
would actually absolutely expect to be the case.
Yeah.
We had 2 patron questions regarding this. I think one was from Wavy Chula. I think we've kind of a little talked about it. They just want to know, like, what do we think Nintendo will need to do to not be affected by the release of PS5 and Xbox Series X? I mean, strong software lineup and, like, still working with third-party publishers. So, like, what is it going to take to keep games coming on there, obviously?
Yeah. And, it remains to be seen what the cross-gen strategy is, period. How many games are only going to be PS5? How many games are going to be both PS5, PS4? And if they're doing that, how much harder is it for that also to include Switch? So it's
a good point, because that seems to be the first real split between Microsoft and Sony. In terms of, like, everything's been so similar, and then we get the reports that Microsoft's like, oh, we absolutely are pushing for exclusivity on Xbox Series X. Like, you will get games you can only play on here in PC, but, like, not on Xbox One. Backwards. I got it backwards. Thank you, Kyle. You're like, wait, dummy, you're dumb. Xbox wants them to be like, you're going to be a few years before you even see exclusives on Xbox One. Sorry. Yeah. The cross-gen will be going on for quite a while on there, whereas Sony is like, you're getting some PS5 exclusive experiences that you can't get on PS4 very soon. Probably right at launch, you'll probably have something like that.
Try yours at launch.
Yeah. And that's very different philosophies right there. It's kind of nice to see that. Just wanted to acknowledge that. Sure. Morgan's question, there's one part of it I think is a little bit interesting.
The rest of it, not too interesting.
And let me rephrase that.
Yeah, all right.
We covered most of this. There's one more interesting part that I don't think we touched upon really, as the other 2 consoles have been investing more in the way of service and value for their customers. Should something happen with the economy where people need to turn to value, can Nintendo remain competitive with Switch and their quote-unquote Nintendo tax? So, Nintendo does put a premium on its games and its services. So, is that something that should be a concern to them with the new consoles coming out?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
They're going to get away with Link's Awakening for $60 for the rest of the generation. They're going to get away with it.
Yeah. I think this is the reality.
Yeah.
And like, even in the face of when they're like not doing well, they don't waver from this.
Yep.
They almost never waver from this stance. You will be paying full price till that game becomes a million seller, and then even they don't do that much anymore. The million seller thing, like, it's like, yeah, maybe in a few years we'll give you like $5 off.
I know.
For a weekend.
Yeah.
Remember the tickets or whatever? Like
the vouchers.
The voucher system.
Those were cool.
That actually was the first time I was like, oh, okay. Dude, I'd like to see more of this actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nintendo.
Oh man, that online app. Oof.
You know what?
What's funny is, it's not premium. It is cheaper, but I feel like the value you're getting for it is cheaper.
The value of the Nintendo online service has been going down steadily. They're not. They need to do something this year, hopefully. I mean, they don't have to. They can continue doing whatever the heck they want. But for me personally, it's getting to a point like you're not adding any more games to your Super Nintendo. Like, where's more Super Nintendo games? I know you said it's gonna be sporadic, but like, this collection sucks now. Like, I'm getting bored of this.
I mean, it seems like Nintendo, the NES games were at least pretty consistent.
I'm not even getting, like,
yeah.
SP versions of Super Nintendo games.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
where's my SP version of something? You're not even doing that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just reeks of, they've kind of, like, given up on that aspect with no real reason why. Like, I thought maybe, they're just going to start selling them on the eShop, like, direct,
Yeah.
like, individual games and stuff. That hasn't material. There have been collections, but Nintendo hasn't said anything about doing
Right,
that
they haven't done
themselves.
anything to do with
And then,
Nintendo,
like,
yeah.
yes, they do amazing support for Tetris 99, but anything else coming?
I think there's been one Super Nintendo update, and they added two games. They added two Super Nintendo games and two NES games.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The NES games they added were kind of neat and weird.
Yeah.
It was Crystalis and
That was the Christmas update, I think.
Yeah.
the one other one I forgot. But
Another title I've never heard of before.
it's just the value proposition for that is just going down. It's
Yeah.
like you gotta give me something soon, or else I'm just might just unsubscribe for a while, unless I really need to play online someday for a new game. But you're not giving me a good reason right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Animal Crossing, but
Yeah.
after Animal Crossing, it's like, hey,
Yeah, but after Animal Crossing is like a year and a half, at least for me.
they got
I
blood.
mean, how much online are you going to play Animal Crossing?
Oh, I mean, that was a huge thing with 3DS. And actually, I've already seen people in the old 3DS group, like, they're starting to resurface it. They're starting to wave the banners. Like, hey, it's about time to get this thread active again.
That's pretty cool.
It's so funny.
That's really
like,
cool.
The fever is
The only Facebook group that's, like, had any value to me.
It's really funny, Blood.
That's Blower's gonna commit to that, but I have to admit the fever's starting to catch on. I think I'm starting to get a little bit like, Animal Crossing New Horizons. I might begin this day one just to
Alright.
capitalize on like everyone. I don't know if I don't want to miss it.
Sure.
Like for that first month, I might be in.
Yeah.
After that first month, I'll probably be out.
Yep.
But in
Digging holes, finding some fossils.
yeah, maybe a week.
Can't hurt. Yeah.
Maybe a week. We'll see. But yeah. A lot of this, though, we need to, like, this. We're just also assuming the software part. We really need to see this direct. We need to see what they got in store.
Yeah.
Like, there's been so many rumors going around, not about the direct, but like, what games they have coming out the rest of the year. It's getting to that point where there's being so much chatter. It's like, give us something. Like, just talk
Yeah.
about stuff, Nintendo.
What's so funny is I've come to respect the value of games that we haven't seen too much of. So, Metroid Prime 4 was a bad announcement, and, it's been too long since they announced it. However, it's at least a thing that people think about and associate when they think of the future of the Switch. And so I think that when these next-gen consoles do come out this fall, there at least needs to be 2 or 3 unreleased Switch games that people are looking forward to.
Yeah.
So, there needs to be games beyond games, and that's the way to combat it, is to keep people excited about your console, is actually to have a list of games that they're just still anticipating.
I agree.
weird.
I need that list.
Yeah.
I need the list, Nintendo.
Sometimes games that we don't have are more valuable than games that we have.
Speaking of Nintendo presidents making statements,
All right.
quick thing, former Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi.
Worth Googling and reading that Wikipedia
Oh,
article
man.
if you're not familiar with this person.
Yes.
Look through some old IGN.
Oh yeah.
Man.
So a statement they made back around 2000 has resurfaced, making the rounds on social media, and then got picked up by a few like news sites, just like reporting on it again. This is a lot of fun stories about Yamauchi's thoughts and philosophies on the game industry during his long tenure, like 50 years, I believe,
yeah.
as president of Nintendo.
Basically up to Iwata.
Up to Iwata, exactly.
Yeah.
Iwata was their successor. This quote is about why Yamauchi believed in Japan the Nintendo 64 was outsold by the original PlayStation. So this is a debate, and you've read arguments all over the place about whether it was cartridges or
Format,
CDs,
yeah.
losing Squaresoft and Final Fantasy, charging too much, to their third parties, all these great arguments about why that fallout happened. But according to Yamauchi, the top brass at the time, Yamauchi claimed the N64 was less successful in Japan than the PS1 because Japanese gamers like to be alone in their rooms and play depressing games.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's obviously translated, right? So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta wonder what, like, you know, what the precise language
Yes.
is there. Depressing games is so funny.
I think that more specifically they were referring to RPGs.
It sounds like
and
it,
that
right?
they
Yeah.
like to be more like an isolated
Well, and
environment.
also, she's probably also referencing like Resident Evil and Metal Gear. You know, like, yeah.
All these games that didn't get on their system.
Yeah.
Well,
and
but also games that are, you know, the quote unquote mature tone, right? Like they're not colorful. They're not something that you play, you know, with your kids. You know, it's you know, a very different style than, you know, what Nintendo was doing for the most part. I mean, Nintendo has definitely had their things. I mean, what's funny is at that time they were funding and developing Eternal Darkness. So what other example do you want?
I mean, RE Remake was one of the Capcom 5 that we talked about, right?
Yeah,
And RE4.
But those games were post Yamauchi, because
Eternal
Yamauchi,
Darkness was an N64 game first.
yeah, Yamauchi announced in 2000 he would be resigning at the end of in 2001, and Iwata would become eventually Iwata would be named his successor. But yeah, a lot of the like, I don't know. You know what, like. It's interesting to see this, but like it's also interesting to go back and think about like things every like president or someone who's in a position to like speak on behalf of the company saying something. Like even Iwata had some statements about like online that were like questionable for their time. It's like, not really Iwata, but we still love you and stuff. You know, like everything else about you. Sorry, you were gonna say something else.
So to me, like, it's a salty statement.
Yeah.
And I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's actually that different from what Furukawa said. You know, I think he's saying, hey, it's a different market. We run different tracks. And I think he's saying it in the saltiest possible way. He's saying, like, we make a different kind of game for a different kind of people, is to me what that statement actually
I
says.
love how you drew this conclusion, Kyle. Like the similarities between them, because yes, Hiroshi Yamauchi was known more. Definitely is a business person.
Sure.
Like the business
Oh,
came
yeah.
first. Whereas Iwata was like a gaming background. Also, you know, president. You know, he did have the executive background as well, but like championing games and game developers. And now that we're with Furukawa had been at Nintendo for a while. He comes from the financial department. He is more of a business person. So it'll be interesting to see going forward under Furukawa's tenure if we start seeing more of like a Yamauchi type style from him
Also, he's
versus
doing great
Iwata
so
style.
far, though.
It's been pretty balanced so far.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like, I mean, but it's also very early, so we'll see. Very, very curious to see how that turns out. Straw Hat Ninja just wanted to point out, greetings allies, Yamauchi's comments about the PS1 versus N64 surprised me. As much as I like the N64, I simply think the PS1 was a better designed console overall. Choosing cartridges over disc inevitably hurt it, otherwise we would have got Final Fantasy VII and N64. Love and respect.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we don't
Just
actually...
pointing out, yeah.
The actual conversation about why the
I know.
PlayStation was better, like, doesn't need to be had.
Right.
But this does bring up an interesting thing.
But being,
Oh, sorry.
being surprised by anything Yamauchi said is, yeah, I couldn't be.
Multiple episodes of this show about Yamauchi statements and go down that memory lane. But this does make it's a good opportunity to reflect upon like Nintendo's had like low points as well. You know, obviously they're riding a high with the Switch right now, but Tanner wants us to think about some low points here. Yamauchi said something similar about people who play RPGs, despite the popularity of Nintendo's Pokemon at the time,
Yeah.
and around the same time dismissed Microsoft's entries into the game console business as an inevitable failure. Yamauchi would retire in 2002, but Nintendo in 2002, but I doubt he was the only one in Nintendo who operated on these beliefs. So I'm wondering,
Oh,
in
I'm
your
not sure
opinion,
about that.
what was the most humbling moment for Nintendo that really changed their way of thinking? Love and respect.
I don't know about that, man. Yamauchi, like you're saying, he's the business guy. I really think he was in his own world sometimes with some of the things he would say. I mean, obviously he was leading the company, but I really he is just very much of like, he's just gonna throw his opinion out there. He's like an old general pretty much. It's like, I'm successful, you're not, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, I don't really care. He and like that, like it just, one burn after another,
Yeah, it's funny because I think you could say Virtual Boy is their biggest failure, but I don't believe he was ever humbled by it. And like the moment I think of most humbling moment for Nintendo, I think it was unprecedented and still hasn't been matched, is the price cut from the 3DS. I think it was 6 months or shorter after the console had launched. Iwata apologized profusely to everybody who had already purchased a 3DS, and then there was the program for free games, free NES and Super NES games. I forget what it was called. Early Ambassador
program.
Yes, where they gave you a bunch of free games, many of which never came out on the 3DS for sale. You just had to luck in being an ambassador in the first place. I don't think that's ever been matched. We're going to give you free games. We're so sorry that this happened. We're sorry that we're cutting the price. But I think they were so taken aback by how unsuccessful the 3DS was at launch.
Yeah. It was really a moment of like, we have to turn this around now.
Yeah, and they did.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest part, is it worked, and then the 3DS obviously became very successful.
That's a really good example there. I think that was one of their... I just remember the bow and stuff, like the apology. That is a very big deal. I mean, everyone's always go to the obvious one. Like, you know, you said Virtual Boy, but like, you know, whether or not they viewed that as a failure. But like Wii U, another one. You know, but I think that's been like covered to death. I mean, but I think the most poignant part of that is like just the botch of the reveal. Just not having, like, not understanding and needing, like, 2 whole E3s, almost 2 years to try and convince people what the concept was and failing. Like, that should have been, like, a red flag right there. Like, maybe we should stop and, like, rethink this. Like, let's, like, you know, let's not, this seems like a bad idea. We gotta do something. And... naming, like, was it as simple as picking a different name or something? Because everyone mistook it for Peripheral and stuff, and it's like, oh, geez, like all the anecdotes of people coming into GameStops and stuff, going, can I get the Wii gamepad? Like, you need the system. No, I was supposed to gamepad for my kid's Wii. Like, no, it's all systems. Like, how, like, that to me is like so weird because they've been so on point with messaging. Like, there never seemed to be a problem for that, and then all of a sudden, like this. And stuff was like, yeah, they didn't make the sales, but like the concept was very easy to understand. This was just like, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Yeah. They were so proud of the Wii game. Remember before the E3, like, we revealed it because we wanted you to get all those dirty jokes out of your system and stuff, and just focus on the games when we come to E3 in 2006. And they're like, oh, we're patting yourselves on the back because we did such a good job with this game. And it turned you for the most unique, like, successful names into like, this is, you got it a and you ruined it. Like, this is... No, you completely missed the point. That was just like... I feel like that hopefully taught them an important lesson, because you saw they came back with Switch, and I was like, I was so worried about that system's name. I was like, oh dear, please get this right. And when that when they did the preface video, like the concept video, and then completely missed it, I was like, oh, and then Paulie, I was like, thank you. Yeah. That was probably where they spent the most money on. Was it? That's right.
The software the Switch launched with was so encouraging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not just another game that looked like HD memes running around. Like, it was their concept video. I was like, no, this is not what I want to see. I don't want to see Wii Sports running on my... That's not the first thing I want to see about Wii U.
Yeah.
I want to see that Zelda demo they showed off later that never came into existence.
Right, yeah. It's funny for something, going through all that stuff, like talking about like,
Behooves.
I remember what was really funny is when the first NX reports came out. It's when we were at Nintendo for Splatoon preview event, and so Reggie comes downstairs and he's like, "Hey, we want to acknowledge that we announced that we're working on a new system. We're calling it NX. We're not going to say anything about it. Enjoy Splatoon."
We got a whole room full of reporters.
I just said anything about it. NX. So, they had to announce NX so early, again, so people didn't lose faith in the company.
Right.
It was basically a way of acknowledging that, like, hey, we're riding out Wii U for the rest of this thing's life cycle, but we have plans. It's too late to save this stupid thing, but we have plans.
One of the shortest life cycles, though. Nintendo traditionally gives everything almost like 5 years.
Yeah, it had to go.
Did not get its time.
Lastly, I think that breaking up with Sony to have it deal with what's the company, the CDI company?
Philips.
Oh yeah. Just probably, I'm sure someone was ashamed. I don't think they're ever publicly ashamed of that, but I assume someone has to be so ashamed of that decision.
I think that probably led to the most salt possible between between Sony and LG. I mean, that's the whole story. So like Sony got so angry at that, they're like, that's it. We're gonna show you, Nintendo, like
They dominated the market.
it's their own fault. They created their own worst enemy. Yeah, they created their downfall for the next generation.
Yeah.
And then that led to Square Enix leaving them, which also caused a lot of Squaresoft, which led to even more salt. Just like mounds of salt during that era. It's like everything coming out of Yamauchi at that point was just like, hate everyone. It's all your fault. Anyway, yeah, it's nice to think about the mistakes they've made and how they can how they've adjusted to each of them. Because I feel like this happens to all the major, especially the big three. It's happened to Sony, obviously like going PS2 to PS3, we gotta learn a little bit here. And then more recently, 360 to Xbox One with Microsoft.
You know what I think the big turnaround for PS3 was? The character Kevin Butler introducing a price cut.
Kevin Butler.
I honestly think that was a huge pivot for them.
Butler.
In the public perception, yeah.
Wasn't his appearance something with a Nintendo system, the thing that got him in trouble?
It was a tire commercial, but I think they were using a Nintendo
Like
console
the
in
Mario Kart
commercial.
wheel,
Yeah.
Mario Wii wheel.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
So disappointed.
Yeah, no, you're right. We see these kind of pivots from time to time. It's cool.
I've got one quick little statement, quick story from a patron and 2 final questions to wrap this up. This first thing comes from Space Dumb. Not a question, just a sweet story. A couple of years ago,
bright.
my brother was confined to the hospital for several weeks due to an operation. So my brother and his friends pitched in and got him a Switch so he could while away the hours in Breath of the Wild. He made a full recovery, and this week he returned the favor and bought my brother a Switch. Not wanting to feel left out, I got him some eShop credit, so now he's all ready to go with Smash Ultimate, Untitled Goose Game, and Binding of Isaac. He loves the snappy menus and the fact that you can take his favorite twin-stick shooter, Binding of Isaac, on the go. I'm very happy for him and hope you are too. Thanks, Space Zone.
Nice.
This first question from me123 is about something. I think these next 2 questions I feel are for Kyle.
Wow. Okay, I'm ready.
All of us can answer them, obviously, but I feel they heard you were going to be on the podcast, so we gotta know Kyle's takes on these.
Wow.
Nintendo recent financial report has mentioned that Nintendo is working with Illumination Studios for the upcoming Mario movie, and how they're proactively involved in development and production of this movie. Their estimate of this movie coming out would be 2022. That would be year 5 of the Switch existing, and also the 5th anniversary of Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch. There was also a 4-year gap between Super Mario 3D World, which came out in November 2013, and Super Mario Odyssey, which came out on October 2017. My question is, if Nintendo was really working hard at making this Mario movie, would it be wise for them to make a second Mario Odyssey, or would they try and do a tie-in movie game promotion that could reboot the franchise? Thank you, allies, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
So here's what's strange, is any other day, I would say no way. I'd say no.
Okay.
I'd say Nintendo's designers are too proud of Mario. They're too good at their job. They do not need, the people who designed Gru to tell them what to do in a video game. But you're right. They brag about how involved they are with this movie. Still, no. I want to say no. There's no tie-in video game. Maybe promotions. Maybe, Smash Bros. Will have something going on, a new Mario skin. But no tie-in game. Final answer.
Okay.
Right?
I agree with you, Kyle. I mean, do you have anything to say on this?
Yeah, Mario, and very particularly is so led by design, like industrial level design, like this works because it feels good kind of stuff. That like I can't, other than like maybe somebody introducing a character in the movie that somehow gets into the game, I can't really see there being anything that could potentially, be seen as a crossover.
And the idea of a reboot is just no chance.
Yeah.
The Odyssey is just the best-selling Mario game in the years and years. Like, no way.
I think the theme park is like the extent, the movie and the theme park.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing what they're doing with the theme park conceptually. I think that's where you'll see any of this stuff, like the most of it. But to your point, Kyle, I think maybe in Smash Ultimate in 2022, you see a Minion assist trophy.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Alright.
This Minion shows up, assist trophy.
I love it.
That's it.
What's crazy is what I thought this Mario movie would be is what the Sonic movie is. Sonic appearing in a real-life, real-action thing outside of his own world. That's what I swore this Mario movie was going to be.
It's all gonna be CG.
That's great.
Yeah.
The entire movie is CG. Do you think it's still Mario popping out of his own world, though? I still do think it is.
I hope not.
Do you think it all takes place in, like, Mushroom Kingdom?
I get so sick
We've heard
of
nothing about what the
these
the
movies.
premise
They're
or
like,
anything,
oh, we're
right?
gonna bring back Smurfs, but it's gonna be like some stupid thing in New York. Like, oh, who
Yeah.
cares? Like,
Yeah. It's the easiest way to write that, though.
And that's exactly what the Mario Brothers movie is, right? It's just like, oh, here's
Yeah.
the Mario Brothers.
How are they
They're doing some stupid thing in New York.
Like the comedy they're gonna do for it, because there's gonna be comedy in it.
Yeah.
They're gonna try comedy.
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna be slapstick, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like goofy stuff. So it's gonna open like I don't know if it's gonna go to the real world. I mean, I can see it.
Hire the guys
but, like,
that used to work at Alpha Dream. They need to be in on this.
Oh, we're already talking about former employees of Alpha Dream.
wish
Yeah.
that's like the reality of Biounder never gonna happen.
I hope they make their own platinum, by the way. I hope they all
Sure.
just
Yeah, they should. They should make original games that make Nintendo sorry they don't have those stuff anymore.
Yeah.
No, like
But again, it's like if you want to look for examples, like you've got to go to like those spin-offs, because the main Mario games don't have anything, right? Like you've got to get those guys that were writing that stuff in like Mario and Luigi games, Thousand Year Door, like get those kind of influences in there rather than Peach made a cake and Bowser kidnapped her.
No, it's not gonna. But I mean, there'll be a celebration of combat. Like it's absolutely gonna start. Like they're gonna watch. They will go with the plumber route. There'll be Mario and Luigi. Will just be working in Brooklyn.
I really hope.
And
not.
they will
I
like
really
go
hope
down.
not.
It'll be the cartoon thing again.
So
they'll end up in the Mushroom Kingdom,
Yeah.
and they're just gonna be like, "What is this world and stuff?"
You wish.
And then like they're gonna be established. They're gonna just be having a normal day at the Mushroom Kingdom at Peach's castle. They're gonna be like gathering there for some event, and Bowser's gonna crash the party. And
some
it's,
after-school kids producer has completely tainted you, Damiani.
Yeah.
None of that stuff has anything
like-
to do with Mario. It really doesn't.
Here for sure is what's going to happen.
okay, what's gonna happen?
There is going to be a hip-hop song almost as inappropriate as Gangster's Paradise. There will be some hip-hop song. It's just going to be like, where am I? Like, absolutely that will happen.
What will absolutely happen
Yeah.
is there will be some kind of pop song in there
Yes.
of some top 40 song probably. What's gonna happen is I bet they create an original new character. They're like forced to be like, yeah, this is gonna be like the focus of the movie. Like, it's gonna be like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like
I get
Mario
this.
versus Bowser and Peach and Luigi. That's not cool enough for a movie.
Yeah.
We need a new character.
It's
We
so-
need Toy Story's Spoon character.
So yeah, it's like, so what I imagine is like a meek teenager is just like, all my life I grew up in Mushroom Kingdom watching Mario jump around and you see him like boing boing boing. It's just like, but Mario's been captured. I guess it's up to me. And so it's just about like this stupid kid named Roy and like his stupid adventure, like trying to like save Mario. Like for sure, dude. Yes. Yeah, it's about a new original character.
You think they'd make the same mistake of the live action Mario movie? I love that movie as a comedy. Like it's hilarious, and actually it's a fun movie to watch.
Like creatively, visually, it's kind of
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The one mistake I think they make is they take too long to get like into like whatever their outfits basically.
Yes.
I mean, I wish they got a little bit sooner. Then they start doing the goofy
That's
stuff.
when you're hyped.
Yeah,
Yes.
they start using their explanation for how they do their power moves. watching this movie, Kyle, if they go with your idea,
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi are like myths and stuff. Like they're telling the stories, they're just not around. They
Yeah.
don't show up to the end to be like, "Oh, good job, kid. You know,
Yeah.
you saved the day." And it's like, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted Mario and Luigi, and you gave me this dumb kid.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they don't want Mario to talk.
Then we found out it's a prequel, and it was the origin story for Waluigi.
Ooh, this I like. Waluigi Origins.
He's like, you were like, they weren't nice to me.
Yeah.
Like, I saved the day, they gave me a pat on the back, and that's it.
And you just see like his mustache turn and just like the angles on it just go. Heck yeah.
I do wonder how many characters are going to cram into that movie, but yeah, I'm cautiously
Fair question.
cautiously optimistic.
Fair question.
But yeah, as to your game, it's probably not
There
happening.
will be another Mario game within 4 years, and it won't be that. It won't have anything to do with the movie.
There, you heard it there. All right, our final question from Rammer. Hello, panel. There was a recent report that Game Freak is moving into Nintendo's new Tokyo building, along with a few other Nintendo partners. Having instant access to Nintendo's most talented developers. Do you believe this will help Game Freak's development in the future in regards to the Pokemon series? Also, do you ever see Game Freak being outright acquired by Nintendo? Love and respect.
Well, the core team of Nintendo is in Kyoto, so
I thought they all moved to Tokyo. Isn't that the big story?
I don't know
This is the-
story,
this is the
but
new
I think
office.
this is a new building.
There's a new offices they're opening, and they're trying to like consolidate, not consolidate, like just put everything in.
So
Yeah.
you're saying a lot of people are staying in Kyoto.
I don't see. It would be
Everyone-
really difficult for me to think that Nintendo would uproot from Kyoto because they've had new buildings there.
I don't know. I
too.
don't think they're leaving there, but like this is.
But there is the EAD Tokyo that has worked on a lot of the Mario games.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Kozumi's over there. Yeah. I think this is what they mean. Is like they're going to be moving into one of Nintendo's main studios instead of being off-site like they were before. But like other developers are moving there. Like the rumor that people are trying
I
to
wouldn't
say.
be surprised if Monolith.
That's what
stopped
people
with
were talking
them.
about, like
Yeah.
that, like 'cause they already have 4 different studios. So it's like people were suggesting that Monolith might just take all of them and move them into that one location there to like streamline stuff because they're becoming so instrumental to Nintendo's development and projects. But back to the question at hand: do you think that Game Freak will utilize any of that Nintendo talent there? And do you ever think that Nintendo will ever outright acquire Game Freak?
Okay, so to the first question, heck yeah, I do. I think there's already a lot of collaboration. Honestly, I think Nintendo actually already helps a little bit. But yeah, just to see Monolith's contributions to Zelda. Obviously, we don't know what was what. We don't know how much they contributed, but you can just feel it. You can feel the influence.
Wait, does Breath of the Wild?
It's Breath of the Wild, yeah.
We absolutely know what they contributed to that.
Oh, well, like specifically?
Yeah, there's like interviews and stuff out there about the development of Breath of the Wild. We don't know about Breath of the Wild 2 if
Sure,
you mean that.
no, I mean, how much did they help with Breath of the Wild?
They contributed on previous games, including previous Zelda games, which we don't know what they did on those specifically. But like the world design and stuff on that, they were like Nintendo was struggling with like they would change something on something in one part of the world or like crash something else there. Like their team, the Zelda team was not used to open world design, so they're like hey. Monolith Soft guys, like Xenoblade team, can you come in here and like just help them out with some of this stuff?
Yeah.
Like just get some basics down, and they're like, oh, here we go. And they're like, ooh, you're pretty good at this, Let's bring more people in and stuff like that. And like, they were very instrumental in helping realize that overworld in that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously then yes.
And then for Breath of the Wild 2, they've been hiring for like, deep dungeon stuff. Like that's why people are assuming there's gonna be dungeons. To even like one of the positions even alluded to potentially like story writing or something like that. So
Cool.
they seem like they're even more heavily
Monolith
involved.
helps a lot with this.
But I like what you're thinking, Kyle, because like when I think of someone to help Pokemon and realize more ambitious Pokemon games, I do think of Monolith Soft helping out that overworld in a new Pokemon game.
Yeah.
That wild area, if only Monolith Soft had handled it.
To the second question,
Yeah.
Game Freak owns 1/3 of the most lucrative merchandising and IP in the planet. So no, Nintendo could never afford to pay for a third of them, because it's like, hey, do you want a huge sum of money every year for the rest of your life, or just like a pretty big sum of money right now? Like, no. Like, if you're Game Freak, you believe that your Pokemon income is going to be crazy for the rest of your company's lifetime. There's nothing Nintendo could offer you.
I was gonna say, I think it's more than Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing Nintendo could offer that's worth it, because like they're just gonna keep making money. It's gonna keep printing money.
Yeah.
So Nintendo does have a ton of cash.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a ton of money. But I don't think that's what they're interested in. Like,
Yeah.
having, as you said, the most valuable media IP in the world. It's like, sorry, Nintendo. You can have a piece of this, but you're not getting the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a weird, I don't know.
I mean, I won't say never's never.
Yeah.
Like, things could change, but as it stands right now, I don't see it happening anytime
There's
soon.
just no
Yeah,
incentive.
there's
Yeah.
no-
The most I
no
could
good
see
reason
is
for
like
it.
the gaming division part of it, like with like Game Freak being like as close to being completely managed and operated by Nintendo proper, but like it still has oversight from like it goes up to like the Pokemon company and stuff as well. It's like I think they're so intertwined. Like it's. Yeah, it's really hard to see them separating or something like that. But like specifically Game Freak, they're still going to remain. They're going to still want to retain autonomy on some level.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like I meant the game development part of it, they might concede like, okay, Nintendo, you can step in and have more of your teams help make the game, and like you have creative oversight on the game. But like that's not changing anything at like a higher level though. Like we're never going to concede to that stuff. But yeah, I mean.
I always wonder what their obligations are. Because Creatures Inc. is like, yeah, we do the 3D models.
Yeah.
It's like, that is your entire contribution. Yeah, we do like the character design stuff. Like, oh, okay, all right.
It's like, yeah, it's like it is feels like the most complex relationship because like even with like Hudson, not Hudson, jeez, HAL, holy crap, HAL
okay.
Laboratory. It's like trying to say PAL, HAL Laboratory, and intelligence systems where like Nintendo's involvement with them, but like they don't outright own them. It's like,
Right.
oh yeah, you got to remember that and stuff. It's like, but like they really don't do anything for anyone else anymore. It's like we're Nintendo basically. Whereas like Game Freak's like, we can make games that aren't.
We're gonna go put Little Town Story on the PS4.
Yeah, sorry about that, Nintendo. Yeah, we're gonna make mobile games that we don't need you.
Yeah.
Like I think they do like that. Although nothing besides Pokemon has been anywhere near successful. I think for them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that can be the thing Nintendo always holds over them. It's like, yeah, about that.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. If Pokemon starts floundering, yeah, what are you gonna do about that, Game Freak?
God.
That would be a shame.
No way.
You're gonna make money off Tempo?
Yeah, that'd be a shame if this new deal we got going brings Temtem to Switch.
Oh my god.
They're not scared. Game Freak's
I
not
know,
scared.
they're like, sure, bring your Temtem, whatever. See you in a year with our 16 plus million sales in a month and a half. Yeah, not gonna happen. But it's nice to dream.
I think it's one of the strangest deals in video games. That 3-part ownership.
It's one of the most strangest. It's one of the ones that I think a lot of people just constantly mistake things because it's so easy to. Like you say, like in Pokemon Nintendo, it's like, technically, and it's like, I mean, I do it all the time. I just don't care anymore. But like, you know what? The average person, they don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Just, but for those of you who do know the difference, appreciate it. I apologize whenever don't get those things right, but hey, let's make it easy. Game Freak, sell to Nintendo.
It's like, to me, like, it's just as likely like Game Freak buys Pokemon from Nintendo.
Yeah, like-
right? They have like equal ownership. Like, it's just as likely. It's crazy.
Yeah, like 20 years from now, they're like, hey, Nintendo, Pokemon, remember the glory days, but now it's like dead and gone.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just like make a deal and like do a Kickstarter to bring
Oh
back
Someday, dude. Someday there will be a
the
Pokemon
Pokemon
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter? Yeah, that will be the day.
Yeah.
And then people are like, I have some concerns. How much money did they make off of these games? I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Friend Code. Real quick, for those of you who submitted your questions. Thank you very much. If you would like to submit a question for consideration for a future episode of Friend Code, our $5 and up patron tier is where you can participate in that. I'll make a post the week we are recording a new episode calling for your question submissions. Also, as part of our $5 tier, our early access tier, you get this episode as well as episodes of other Easy Allies shows and podcasts early. For everyone else, you get them for this show. You get them on Friday. Thank you to however you support this show through Patreon or just by watching it on YouTube or listening to it on any of the various podcast services. We also got some shout outs for the month of February 2020. Shout out to El Thanis, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, Will Schmuck, and Mr. One Luigi. Shout out.
Shout out.
We just do it on every podcast?
I have no idea
So,
what
like,
you wanted
Ben's
to
got
do.
a different process.
I mean, I was on there, but I was like...
Yeah,
are
so
we
I think
doing
you
the
need, like,
cadence?
a process of shout-out unique to this podcast.
Oh, I just want all of us to stay in sync.
Okay, all right.
So let's do it again.
Yeah. You gonna give us a countdown, or what?
And Mr. One Luigi, shout out.
Okay, nice.
There you go. Got it right. Thank you, both of you, for joining me on this episode. Recording late after the group stream, so woo, fun stuff. Temtem.
Come to Switch.
Wait, is it?
I think eventually, like
Oh,
probably
really?
not within a year. I think. You know, I think they're that
Oh,
far
yeah,
out
sure.
based off where the game is right now.
Do you think the game will actually properly have a release this year, or do you think it'll be in early access throughout all 2020?
Great question.
It's hard when you start saying like MMO stuff or even just RPGs, right? Because like what is it? Edge of Eternity or whatever, the like JRPG that's not actually by people in Japan. You know, it's doing really well, but it's like it's been in early access forever. You know.
Yeah, what's funny is I think actually being a huge success in early access keeps it prolonged for longer.
Yeah.
Could this be like another Fortnite situation where it just never actually has a full
Yeah.
proper release?
Hey, if you're making money,
Yeah, who cares?
why bother,
You
yeah.
know, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You know, maybe they'll make enough money one day to buy Game Freak. All right. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. So until next time, everybody, may the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
Hello, and welcome to the Game Informer Show. I'm your host, Andy McNamara. Today I am joined by a wonderful cast of characters. First up, Matt Miller, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Excellent, good to hear. Dan, the Jacket Tack.
It's a regular rogues gallery in here today.
It is. And you know, last week I think you promised us a new jacket, and that is not a new jacket. Or
It
is it?
is.
It is.
It is.
You just threw me off with the red. What's different? Oh, it is kind of
very
like
different than the other
It's
red.
tropical. It is tropical. Weedly.
It's sort of a like wish this pose right now. You wish you were in a tropical setting. It's a little dial back for the more ostentatious. I like to imagine, Dan, that somewhere in this office building that none of the rest of us know, you've got a walk-in closet, like just like a filled with filled with the game vault. It's one of the rooms that no one ever goes in. Yeah, behind all the rock equipment.
It's like you have that next to the couch. There's like all those things behind it, and it's like, damn, it's difficult.
It's actually an injured room, and you just walk in this every time. So nice to go and talk to them. Yeah. All right, yeah.
But I love it, the jacket. You're pulling it off. You can do it. And Leo, great. How are you? And hello, excited news for everybody. I'm working at DICE next week, so you're going to get Leo Cast next week. It's already committed, so it's already set your calendars. Next Thursday is great. Leo,
presenting all the data you need to be relevant. Yeah. How about that? In the space and like and make the best runs you can. Right? So tell me about that season 1. So we have this new hero, Revenant, who's kind of a scary robot. Yeah. That's all. And you got like 3 days of working and it's like next level top level, I should say. That's top level like Japanese anime. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Like it's great. It's got a mystical vibe and techno wizards type of thing. Like it's like a monster robot. Yeah.
rushing you and you manage to fight them off and they're just fine still. They just walk back and they're fine.
Yeah, they kind of. I did this already.
Yeah, exactly.
I beat you. No, you didn't. But
That worked. Hey everybody, it's Friday night. I'm Kyle Lawson. We're Street Banjo 2. It is yeah, too early. Let's see our happy couple. Platonic couple chat. They go through a lot of work to make sure that we understand their relationship is completely platonic. Okay, so one more sentence, we get through hard. Let's do it. That's pretty fun. Working with moms. John is K, I shouldn't say this out loud. I had time to watch my pictures out loud, chat. I really want to do a German efficiency thing about posture. I want to, you know what I mean? They say, like, if your core is better, you're going to have better posture. And if you look at German efficiency, his posture is Posture is essential for desk work. Heck yeah. Okay, let's do this one. Posture is a social construct.
setting up some lore, chap. Setting up some lore here. I just definitely surprisingly tasteful depiction of Wumpa. I don't know, I'll allow a little bit of it. I think what this comic is that is what that pretext is. I think Lois is playing a trick on us, very Joker-like. And I gotta say, pretty effective. There's Dragon Kazooie. That's what we're talking about. In the snow, is that gonna happen today? I think today might be fire and ice level if we finish the factory. That's from Ulti Mustins. Banjo by Microsoft Comics. I bet that's not the only correct we'll see today. The reason I like this is that it's drawn. It's drawn like The Far Side, right? But it's drawn like some sort of stupid newspaper comic. A 65-year-old man loves. I think that's what's boomerang humor. Yeah, I love that. Sorry, kid. It's economics. I love this piece big time. So at the end of the level last week, I killed Banjo on purpose because the respawn spot is closer to the exit than where we were. So yeah, he died. And that is why he's crying in this picture. That's Camel T. A couple new artists this week, that's pretty cool. Snowcone Guy. This has absolutely nothing to do with our stream, so this is disqualified. Nothing to do with what we've been streaming. Clutch Danger 16. I want to disqualify this too. It doesn't break the rules, so I'm just going to allow it. Hard colors, don't get me started. So you guys are getting taken. We took the key out, baby. We're nervous. Christian Buckley depicting our stop and swap. I like it. I was thinking about this a lot, how it's kind of cool if you play through that first game and you get a lot of stuff. You get a leg up in this game. I think it would have been a long time until we accessed Dragon Kazooie or otherwise. So it's kind of cool. Reminded me. Little snow here. So can we see Longo? Swimming on a big old roll of toilet paper. It appears to be Joker's girlfriend, Harley Quinn. Her cheek says Watson. So that's a Yule Scum piece, make of it what you will. I mean, obviously, this is just so sick. Ryan Fuller. We transformed into a T-Rex last week. And obviously obviously we have Dragon Kazooie, which is so awesome. What a piece. Energy. Energy. I believe this was drawn in anticipation of me having my new anime eyes glasses tonight. Didn't work out for me, but absolutely did work out for Mama. Stay beautiful. I mean, that's very good. Chad, do you ever stop to appreciate like how good some of the art we get on a weekly basis is? You know what I mean? Some communities wait a lifetime for a drawing like this. Not us, we did it every 7 days. What's the TLDR on Mama, by the way? Mama is the best possible creature you can create in the Game Boy game that I made last year called Don't Call Me Mama, but Inside Your Mama. I think that was his name. Why was it Mama's fault? Because monasteries. It's still part of the streaming pantheon. You can do any backlogs. We still sometimes we get art from Road Trip. I'll take it. If you want to do art from my very first solo stream, go nuts. Which is what? Is it G-Force? What's my first solo stream as part of Easy Allies chat? It might be G-Force or it might be the Monkey one. Space Chips. Can't remember. By the way, in the past you have said no art from the older streams. Then I'm revoking that rule. Because I want Scrat art to come in for the rest of my life. I never want the Scrat stuff to stop. Tom Christian Finvic depicting T-Rex, Banjo, and then Dragon Kazooie, who is becoming more and more canon, just doing her own thing up there, battling that stupid boss fight that we had to do last week. And then we're all the way back around. Boop-de-boop. If you would like to submit true art from this week's stream, or any backlog of streams, send that to trueart@easyallies.com. Throw your name on it if you want your name to be read, because all I do is put it into a folder and then put it back in here, and don't necessarily remember what came from whom. No Looney Tunes must be relevant to our streams, any old stream, and clearly there's a balance, you know? If you depict Wamba somehow respectfully, she can get in. If you exaggerate Wamba in inappropriate ways, she's not gonna get in. But man, Wamba's already on a thin line. She needs to get patched. We need a Wamba patch, chat. My glasses. Chat. So, you know, we talked about it, I think, 2 weeks ago, right? On this very stream. How I had spent $630 as someone with no eye insurance on a new pair of glasses. So imagine my excitement Wednesday, picking them up. Whole new pair of glasses. So fun, right? Then, I put them on in the store. Everything feels right. I look around and I say, I'm seeing more detail. This feels so weird. This is overwhelming. Something seems off, alright? I get through Wednesday. Thursday, I get through it, a whole day of Easy Allies, you know? Streaming with Jones, doing the podcast. I get to my car, and I know it. I feel it. Something's wrong. In the distance, I see lights that are blurry. Blurry lights. In the dark, I can't see as far. And so I go into my car, I take out my regular glasses, and I see these lights clearly. I can read signs that I can't read with my new glasses. I am frustrated, chat, that I spent $630 on glasses that are somehow worse than the glasses I already have. I'm cranky. Tomorrow, I'm walking in there. I have an appointment. We're going to sell this, hopefully. hopefully. How do you get that wrong? How do you make me wear his glasses? I have to be honest with you, Chad. I think this might be a thing where I'm about to give them more money to fix my glasses. I think that is about to happen, and I don't like it. I'm cranky. I'm very, very cranky about this. Because, what she had said was, and this was, I still don't quite understand this, and maybe you eye doctors in chat will, my contact prescription did not change, but my lens prescription did, and I'm like, why is that? And she said, I put in a fix for your astigmatism, and contacts are too close to your eyes for that to matter. And so, like, maybe the astigmatism fix is what makes stuff in the distance more blurry. I don't know. I guess we'll find out tomorrow, chat. But for now, we're sticking with the good old, regular old glasses. Does Easy A get health insurance? No, but California's pretty cool in that it's got some cheap insurance that you can pick up that's not too expensive. It just does not include stuff like eyes and dental. I get my own dental insurance, but I have no eye insurance, so I just kind of pay up. Astigmatism fixes shouldn't do that. Okay, good to know. I guess we'll figure it out tomorrow. I'm not happy. There's no satisfaction guarantee either.
Fan är trappan upp då? Ja.
O Sultan Tree, hallowed spirit of my line. Through my weakness, the glorious house of Ul has all but disappeared beneath the sands. For want of the strength to raise it up again, it were better that it fall. Forgive me, but I know not what else to do. You needn't trouble yourself so.
Your Grace is most kind, but it is no trouble to me, rather an honor. If your Grace is ready, I shall summon the Warrior of Light.
I am.
Everyone looks to be in high spirits.
With good cause.
A common victory may serve to unite even the most unlikely of allies. You've brought us one step closer to a united Eorzea.
Your modesty knows no bounds, antecedent. Were it not for your efforts, Sir Emeric would never have become such a steadfast ally. When he convinces his countrymen to rejoin the Alliance, we shall all reap the benefits, military and economic. I tell you, we are on the cusp of a new era of unity and prosperity. Territorial disputes are all that divide us now. But I have faith that we will find an amicable solution in time. And failing that, I'll have my trusty warrior of light box the ears of all concerned. Speaking of whom...
She will be joining us shortly. A matter at the quicksand required her attention, but it did not sound serious.
Oh my god. Do it.
Enter. Your Grace, your guest has arrived. Pray, come in and take your ease.
Tis well that the steps of faith held against the Horde.
And what of the city proper?
We sustained some few losses, but the heart of our nation yet beats with vigor. I am not certain I could say the same had we not received your most generous aid.
An attack on Ishgard is an attack on the realm. We stand together or fall divided.
Such noble words, after the fact.
I had hoped to speak in the presence of Her Grace, but it seems she has been delayed. That being the case, now would seem as good a time as any. Honored friends, pray allow me to convey Ishgard's warmest gratitude for your part in the defense of our lands. Tis upon the success of this very alliance that my recommendation to throw open the gates of judgment shall be founded. With the blessing of the Archbishop, it is my hope that Ishgard will soon be reunited with her long-estranged sister nations, and that Eorzea shall once more be as one.
Very well.
Is aught amiss?
Nothing to worry about. I shall return anon. You wished a word, Yu Yu Hase?
You may go.
Your Grace.
You must be curious as to the reason for this private audience. The matter I would discuss, however, will soon make apparent the need for discretion. I intend to abdicate the throne and dissolve the monarchy. You have seen for yourself the storm of turmoil that howls through our streets. The government fails in its responsibilities, and my subjects suffer the consequences of our incompetence. But I will see them suffer no longer. The victory feast shall provide the stage on which I declare the dissolution of the Sultanate. 'Tis mine intent that the ruling class of our golden city should take its place beside the common man in a fair and equitable republic. No more shall this nation bow to the whims of a privileged few. Yet, that which I propose will entail the tearing up of this city's very foundations. And even Roban, with all his strength and influence, will be hard-pressed to keep his footing on such treacherous ground. Thus would I ask you to lend him a steadying hand. You who have endured the wrath of innumerable foes are the one hero in whom I can place my trust. Will you do this thing for me? I am truly grateful. More grateful than I can well express. How much we have both changed since that day we met beneath the Sultan tree. And the days ahead promise to change us further still. I hope that we will recognize ourselves when all of this is over.
Poison. Damn. She dared us. Fucking poison. Frågan om jag kommer få skit för det. Damn.
Your Grace!
She dared us. Fucking poison. Frågan om jag kommer få skit för det.
Your Grace! The Sultana is dead.
Åh, du din fucking Teleji.
Poison in her wine? You did this! Spare us your denials! I see no other suspects, and the room has but the one entrance. I hereby accuse you of regicide. Men, arrest this viper.
Sir, barring a few exceptions, we have detained all those with allegiance to the Scions. The Rising Stones is also under our control.
And what do you hope to achieve with this mutiny?
Why, that which we have striven for all along, Commander. The salvation of Eorzea.
the meaning of this?
Knights from the homeland. This cannot bode well.
Lord Commander, we have received an urgent message from the Holy See. I am grieved to report that your serpentine foes have resumed their assault. Needless to say, your presence is urgently required. These knights have come to bear you swiftly home to Ishgard.
A surprise attack?
We've had no such word from our men, and the timing is most fortuitous to catch us away from the city.
Most fortuitous indeed.
Lord Commander, we must away.
You have been a most gracious host. I hope that I might one day return the favor. Come, Lucia.
Whatever is going on in there?
Ah, the ever-dutiful brass blades. I must apologize, but my dance card is rather full. Another time, perhaps?
Thancred, of the Scions of the Seventh Door. You stand accused of committing acts of espionage in service to the Garlean Empire.
Espionage? What in the seven hells are you talking about? Ah, if you're referring to that business with the Ultima weapon, then you must understand, I wasn't myself.
Under interrogation, an Imperial prisoner revealed your involvement in numerous dealings with the enemy. We've also been investigating reports that you are a practitioner of forbidden arts. You'd best come along with us.
You invite me to your party and now you want me to leave? I do so detest receiving mixed signals. Come then. I believe I've lost my appetite for this farce of a celebration.
Go too far, Lord Adeleji. By what right do you march armed soldiers into a royal banquet and eject state visitors without her grace's consent? You treat the brass blades as your personal army and show contempt for the throne with your every act. Leave us, now.
Is that an order, General? Mayhap you have mistaken me for one of your flames. You will find I am not so slavishly obedient. As you lecture me on personal armies. As for your outrageous claim that I have shown contempt for the throne, let all here observe that it was not I who feasted while an assassin removed its occupant. I expect this is your idea of defending the nation, is it? This and diluting our forces through these distractions in Cartano and Kurthus. I do begin to see how the ranks of the Immortal Flames came to be riddled with Garlean sympathizers. You are plainly unfit for command.
Wait, goddammit. Your words make no sense. What assassin?
You mean to say you don't know? We caught the vaunted champion of the Scions in her Grace's private chambers, not moments after the deed was done.
No! No, this cannot be!
Save your breath. You will need it to plead your case. You and your entire order are to be tried for this atrocity. Bring in the prisoner!
Åh, din fula.
This woman stands accused of poisoning Her Royal Majesty Nanamu Namo and is suspected accessories to the crime. All members of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn will be detained for questioning.
This is madness!
What a pity. Who'd have thought your tale would end like this?
Should you demand further proof, a vial with traces of the substance used to poison Her Grace was found upon the assassin's person.
How very convenient.
You would speak of convenience? Who persuaded Her Grace to host this celebration? A diversion which presented you and your Confederates ample opportunity to commit the crime, and a crowd within which to fade from view. A more convenient occasion I could scarcely imagine.
How dare you! After all we have done for Uldar!
Hold your tongue, witch! I'll not be ensorcelled. I know all about the dark gift that you and your disciples wield. Oh, yes. I've observed how you worked upon the minds of the Alliance leaders, bending them to your will. And what of your cordial relationship with Sir Emmerich? For years, Ishgard abjured all contact with the outside world, and now the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights treats you with the familiarity of a childhood friend. I'll tell you what I think. I think this desperate defense of Ishgard was but a ruse to deceive us into dividing our forces. Your next move will be to charm your Kurthan allies into invading our lands. Now, that is truly ridiculous.
How do you even think of this stuff?
She cannot be dead. Stand aside, Ilbert. I want to see the Sultana.
Spare yourself the pain, brother. I saw her with my own eyes. For a mercy, the poison took her swiftly. Her handmaiden can attest to that.
Those cannot be.
Plainly, the Royalists can no longer be relied upon to keep our nation safe. And so it falls to the monitorists of the Syndicate to govern Uldar. But should you wish to help us, General, we would be more than happy to entrust the task of planning Her Grace's funeral to you. It seems only right that you should bury the precious Sultana, and we will be glad to be rid of that burden.
I'll bet you will. You more than any man.
Whatever do you mean?
I mean you had her killed, you black-hearted bastard!
What rot! Though I did have sufficient motive, 'tis true. That young lady caused me no end of grief. She always was a most unwilling puppet. I dare say her grace was grateful that someone thought to cut her strings.
You would mock her, then mock her from hell!
What?
Damn!